Hmm. Good morning, team. We are here today. We have Scott Besson speaking right now. We do have stuff going on today as well in terms of the ADP jobs report goes live at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time today. Last time it showed only 22,000 jobs. One of the things I'm looking at today, the NASDAQ has rebounded a little bit. Look at this rebound back up. So we dropped a lot over the last few days in markets over fears on Iran and all that stuff going on. Right now, Besson is actually speaking on that right now. He said the Navy will provide safe passage for tankers if needed when it's the right time, basically. But as of now, the Strait of Hormuz is basically closed, as the rumors we're hearing. Again, we do have the ADP jobs report today. We have jobless claims tomorrow. We have non-farm payrolls and unemployment on Friday. And again, Besson is still speaking right now. And yeah, let me check out the chat. What's up, Dr. Crypto, Buddy, Slum, Demetrius, Mark, Yee, VA, Farmers, Pawn, Rish, Boss, Ed, Ava, David. What's up, guys? Good morning. Sam, what's up, dude? Good morning, guys. Honestly, my portfolio is kind of green. One of the other things to look at today is Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin right now, guys. Bitcoin is actually green on the day. It's up over 70,000 as we speak for Bitcoin. So I am happy to see Bitcoin higher here. Look at Bitcoin at 70,000 right now. 70,000, 71,000 really. And again, futures are stabilizing today. Some markets are green. Mag 7's pretty quiet. Oil has pulled all the way back. If we take a look at oil here, again, oil's pulled all the way back to 74s. At the peak moments, it was at 78, really. And so oil has dipped back down. We'll see if that dip continues here. But yeah, we got jobs basically over the next 3 days. We have ADP data today for jobs. We have jobless claims tomorrow. And then we have the big payroll report on Friday is the big market catalyst this week outside of Iran and the stuff going on. But we do have Besson speaking right now. So Besson said China had been paying a big discount on oil in China. He said China is very vulnerable on energy. On Iran, he said Trump had a vision here and everyone should step back. He said we had been softening the economy to prepare for campaign now. On Iran's economy, he said the crash gave opening to go in. On Iran and currencies, need to look to the other side of this. And yeah, he's basically speaking on CNBC's Squawk Box right now. But yes, that is what's going on right now. Besson speaking on oil. He says we are in a very different position than when Russia invaded Ukraine. Millions of barrels are away from the Gulf. We'll make a series of announcements on oil, and the U.S. Navy will provide safe passage to tankers if it's needed. He says he's in contact with other countries about oil issues, but provides no further details. And again, looking at oil is slightly red on the day. Maybe some stability here on these comments. This mostly happened over the last few minutes, but we've been sideways since then. I finished the day red yesterday. Yeah, I can't remember if I finished red. It depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about stocks, futures. We're going to do a poll today. What's a good poll, guys? Give me some options in the chat. Hey, nice, Kato. Good job, dude. What's up, Gene? What's up, dude? Sky? Yeah, I heard about that. About South Korea's stock market. What's a good poll question? Let me hear it. What's a good poll question, guys? But look at oil. Oil dipping. 74.50. Besson's still speaking right now. So red or green yesterday as well, guys. Did you in red or green yesterday? Let me know. We'll let everybody get in here. But again, Besson speaking right now. He said last night they took full control of Iranian skies. Will take out Iran's ballistic missiles and bunkers in the coming days, according to Scott Besson. Are we cooked? No poll? Are we toast? How long will the Iran conflict last? I think that's a good option. How long? And remember, I'm going to preface this poll with this understanding. What's weighing on markets right now is how long will this conflict last? The base case right now is 1 to 5 weeks. 1 to 5 weeks. If it if it's earlier than a couple weeks, we'll probably get some positive reactions. If it gets dragged on, 5-6+ weeks, we might get some negative reactions. Oil might do the opposite. Oil might go up the longer it drags on and go down the shorter it drags on. And so that's what it is for oil. But how long will this conflict last? 1 week? 1 month? 2 months plus? I'm just going to add plus at the end of it to make it simple. So we have 1 week, 1 month, 2 months plus, or 3 months plus. Vote on the poll. The poll is now live. You can now vote on it. We actually just turned red in some things, though, here. If I look at the NASDAQ today, NASDAQ just turned red. We're at 24.7s right now. My portfolio, honestly, is pretty flat. Outside of SoFi, my portfolio is pretty flat. All right, so looking at our poll here, 51% say it's going to last over 3 months. 51% think this conflict is going to last over 3 months. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about U.S. involvement, of course. So I'm talking about U.S. involvement. Is it all like a box of chocolates? Will last till enough land to build 15 minutes. Again, one of the portfolios doing great today. Bitcoin, guys. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin at 71,000 basically right now. Look, 71K here. 3 months the U.S. will run out of targets. All right, guys. And again, we got a lot of we have a lot of jobs data coming out today. We have the ADP report coming out in less than an hour. Less than an hour. Yeah, Bitcoin's ripping up because it's snapping back from the Iran conflict sell-off as risk appetite returns somewhat. Traders are treating it as a high beta risk and partial safe haven play, while ETF and institutional flows stay supportive, apparently. Again, Bessett's still speaking. He said on the Fed and jobs, way to get more jobs is to have private sector create jobs on CNBC. He said on tariffs, rates will revert to previous rates in about 5 months, he says. But we just got this quote from Bessett here. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Again, Bessett says, way to get more jobs is to have private sector create jobs. Do you guys agree with this? Again, I'm still checking on our poll here. 1 month is at about 28%. 3 months is at about 43%. 1 week is at 24%. Nobody likes 2 months. Yeah, I heard about the Korea drops. Korea dropped by like 10% in a single day. Yeah, I heard. Yeah, we'll go into that in just a second here. My portfolio just turned a little bit red here, though, chat. We're still looking at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ started to come back down. It did hit 24.9 or so. It's back down to 24.760s. If we take a look at the SPY here, SPY is now technically red on the day. Nvidia is pulling back. It hit 183s. It's back down to 181s right now. Meta, Microsoft starting to tumble back down some here. It's at 401.50 or 401.80s right now. Look at Microsoft dip. So Microsoft starting to fall. Yeah, Korea got hit pretty hard. The Kospi index plunged 10 to 12% in one of its worst days on record. This is mostly driven by panic over the Iran war is what I'm showing here. Oil prices popping and heavy foreign selling and export and AI chip names like Samsung and SK Hynix is what I'm showing. So, yeah. Look at Microsoft dip though. We have again Nvidia. TSM is still pretty green. Nvidia is still pretty green. Apple is slightly red. Microsoft falling down a little bit here. And again, UBS said earlier today that if the Strait of Hormuz is extended, if the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is extended beyond the next couple of weeks, Brent crude could see further upside north of $100 per barrel. And honestly, excuse me, this is what a lot of people have been saying. A lot of people have been saying that we might see Brent crude, which is already in the, 80s right now. We look at, like, when I put up CL here, this is West Texas Intermediate crude. A little bit cheaper, but Brent crude, it's at the 80s, I believe, right now. Where's Brent at? Okay, Brent is at 78s, actually, so it's not quite at the 80s, but it's been between 80s for the last... Oh, okay, I'm showing Brent crude at 82 a barrel. Let me make sure that's right. 82.60s a barrel. So yeah, $82 a barrel roughly for Brent crude right now is what I'm showing. Okay. In futures. So 82. So basically they're saying if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed beyond the next couple of weeks, it could see further upside north of $100 a barrel. Yeah, there's 20 million barrels per day. It's a huge aspect of oil. What's your ADP prediction? My ADP prediction, I really have no idea. ADP is very hard to predict. It varies. It generally swings less, but when it does swing, you see big, like, most of the time it stays within a range. But when it does show up outside of expectations by big margins, then you might see some big swings. And so ADP is much harder to predict. Much harder to predict. They're usually a little bit more late with their reports as well. But again, we'll see what happens today. We got 45 minutes left. We'll put a timer up soon. Yeah, I'll get the timer up now. But where's my browser timer here? Again, is Besant still speaking? Let me see. Problem connecting to the servers. Okay, yeah, I think Besant's done speaking. So Besant no longer speaking here. A NATO spokesperson said we condemn Iran's targeting of Turkey. So they did target it. Container ship hit while So I'm seeing news that a container ship trying to enter the Strait of Hormuz has been hit by 2 drones. U.S. Treasury Secretary Besant on AI and Anthropic says we'll have out of U.S. system in several days. Qatar Energy declares force majeure to affected buyers. But again, a container ship hit while transiting the Strait of Hormuz, according to a couple different reports that I'm showing here. Oil still hasn't really jumped too much here. I guess people are already kind of expecting this. Here's the Q. Q is now technically red on the day. NASDAQ is pushing towards it. And maybe some more fears here. Nvidia starting to turn back down. Microsoft starting to fall. Alphabet dipping down some as well here. So starting to see some stuff. Again, Besant said that the 15% tariff, global tariffs start this week. He said we'll move back to prior rates within 5 months after the reversal. So he thinks we're going to move back to the prior rates within 5 months as well. There's plenty of oil and reserves. Oh yeah, hold on. I wanted to get this thing set up. Let me see if I can get it set up here. Hold on. There's a way. Yeah, I think Besant's done speaking on CNBC. But again, the big breaking news that we've seen is that a vessel trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz was hit, apparently. A NATO spokesperson says their defense and defense posture remains strong across all domains, including when it comes to air and missile defense, stands firmly with allies, including Turkey, as Iran continues its indiscriminate attacks across the region. So we have that going on right now as well here. It's still kind of scary in markets right now, guys. It's still a little scary here, to be honest. We got an ADP jobs report coming out in about 45 minutes. Dubai market also dropped. Yeah, a lot of overseas markets dipped. Be careful shorting. It could resolve quickly. Long or short today, guys? Put it up in chat right now. Are you long or short right now in this market? Long or short? Bitcoin's flying up today. It's at almost 71s. Although I will say Bitcoin is dipping some now at 70.6 thousand. So I will say Bitcoin's pulling back. It's up a lot on the day. Long or short? So I see mostly shorts. I see Ava with a long, Camille with a long, Luke with a Bitcoin long, F with a I am long short. Okay, that's fair. I'm not doing anything for now. I can respect that, Rami. Short. Did you just... Oh. Who's Jondon? My name is John London. I might change my name to Jondon. Shorting gold. Let's take a look at gold here. Gold and silver have been volatile the last few days. Gold all the way back up to 52.20s here. Still down net over the last 48 hours or so, but it has rebounded slightly from its drop. Silver's kind of the wild card here, though. Silver, again, 85.50s here for silver. So silver, back and forth, down to 70s, over 90s, back down to 80s. So silver's still pushing here. $5,200 is sticky? Yeah, I think so. Long on silver? I usually delete mentions of other channels, Lee, but I'll let it slide just because you're a regular here. It's all good. Crazy how strong silver is holding its price. Yeah, I mean, it's back up to almost 90s here. It's back up to almost 90s. I'm definitely watching it today. So Iran just spoke and they said it will continue attacks as long as the U.S. continues its attacks. So basically it's you stop. No, you stop is essentially what they're saying. But again, Iran just spoke, says it will continue attacks as long as the U.S. continues its attacks. Perplexity has also signed a multi-year deal with CoreWeave to help power a new generation of services, according to Axios. CoreWeave has jumped up a little bit on this news. Look at CoreWeave jump after a deal with Perplexity. And I actually really like Perplexity as AI. I use Perplexity every single day. Very useful, accurate a lot of the time. Can create thumbnails, can do all kind of stuff, to be honest. Perplexity, very useful. Very useful. Why would you delete comments that mention other streamers? It's not that I'm like intentionally like, hey, you can't mention other streamers. It's more so that sometimes you get people from really small streaming channels and they come to this channel and they're like, hey guys, you should go check out Bill Trading over there. And then I'm curious and I'm like, I go look at Bill Trading and it's got like 2 viewers and they're obviously doing it trying to like piggyback off of it. And so at a certain point, you're just kind of like, not here, dude. Sorry, brother. But if I think, like I said, if I think it's a valid, like, hey, go watch this cool video about silver or whatever, I usually let those slide. It just depends on who it is. It's not that I delete all of them randomly. Bill Trading, the GOAT. Yeah, for sure. Perplexity, again, signing a multi-year deal with CoreWeave to help power a new generation of services, according to Axios. CoreWeave is now up. NVIDIA is still pulling back. A lot of things are very flat on the day leading into this stuff. So A lot of stuff's flat today. I'm supposed to get something up that allows me to, okay, open up Stream Social Ninja. Where's it at? Yeah, let's take a look. Here's Tesla right here. No, you're good. You can leave it up, Lee. Hey, thank you, Demetrius. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir. Yeah, looking at our poll options, we asked people how long will this conflict last. Honestly, we're pretty split between three options. 1 week at 27%, 1 month plus at 29%, and 3 months plus with the majority votes at 34% today. 34%. So my indicators are flashing. We're about to crash. Oil. Yeah, look at that Exxon. Exxon originally, when this news came out. And what's interesting, guys, is something I was explaining to my wife. You know, my wife came to me Saturday and she was like, hey, the U.S. attacked Iran. And I told her, okay, so the rumors were true because Friday last week, oil spiked. If you look at oil last week, and even if you look at like Exxon on Friday, we saw oil spike on Friday. And if you watch the stream on Friday, one of the things I kept telling people is that there's rumors and rumblings of potential strikes this weekend. Some people argued and said, no, that's not going to happen. And then Saturday morning when we woke up, we heard about it. And then oil ripped up even more when it opened. And so it's interesting how you can kind of see markets digest these type of things early. You know, maybe big money knows things we don't. Insiders know things we don't. People just figure things out. Rumors start flying, and you know, we kind of know what's going to happen before it happens. Oil. Again, here's oil on Friday. Now, oil wasn't crazy elevated on Friday, but it was up. Oil had popped to $67 a barrel for WTI crude. And yeah. Yeah, I'm just reporting on the news regarding... Again, people are asking, how do I know a vessel? There's multiple different people who posted it. Again, container ship hit while transiting the Strait of Hormuz, according to reports. Another report says a container ship trying to enter the Strait of Hormuz has been hit by 2 drones, is the news that we got. So, yeah, Bitcoin. Look at oil still elevated here, man. Crude still sitting at 74.40s right now. The crude's pumping. Yeah, so well, Bassett said earlier, if you look at the big breaking thing, Bassett said, or I guess we switched it to a different one. Bassett said that the U.S. Navy would guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz if necessary. And so we did get that type of news this morning. Here's the NASDAQ. Again, the NASDAQ slightly green on the day, but still a lot of uncertainty here. A lot of people are worried about inflation, and we're going to see what the job market looks like as well. But a lot of people are worried about inflation now. You know, oil prices being high. Out of all the influencers online, you were the first one to start my day with. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Again, if we take a look at yields this morning, guys, 10-year treasury yields still over 4%. They were under 4% for a little while over the last few days, but they are now at 4.07% for treasury yields. 4.07%, almost 4.08%. Here's the 5-day trend here. Oil prices being so elevated, making people maybe a little worried about inflation. You know, less rate cuts, inflation, and how long this trickles. on is going to influence a lot of this stuff. So bro, did they get rid of the snipping tool here? Like, I just did an update on this computer. Where's the snipping tool? There it is. All right. Yeah, I got this cool thing that's going to make me put comments on. So I'm trying to get this set up here. John makes money. Morning's interesting. Knowing money is always working and moving. Yeah, for sure. It's interesting to follow it all, right? But again, I started off in like penny stock day trade is what I started off with. But the more I started paying attention to the market, my brain kind of started floating more towards economics, markets, investing, trading, and just catalysts. I thought that was the most interesting thing. So, yeah, see if we can get this set up at OBS. Because if I can get this set up at OBS, I'll then be able to share comments on the screen is what I'm trying to do. And again, we have the ADP jobs data at about 45 minutes, guys. 45 minutes. You haven't heard. Everyone now has a job. Oil will certainly go over $100 a barrel. That's a pretty good question, too. I see a recent news release that says the U.S. military reportedly carried out strikes against Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka, according to reports citing U.S. officials. Yeah, sorry to hear, Sam. Hope you feel better, friend. Hope you feel better, dude. Yeah, I'm working on this in the background. Like, if you look at this, like, you can see how it shows the comments here. But I got to build it a little bit better here. So just give me a second. NASDAQ bouncing right at the previous closing price. Here's the previous close at 24,700s here. So we're at 24,700s. Did you guys see... Bitcoin is up today. It's right at 71,000 right now. So look at Bitcoin, right at 71,000, doing really good today. Kind of a rebound from some of the fears that we saw. That's what this is. So kind of rebounding some of the fears that we saw. Ah, okay. Yeah, again, I saw U.S. military reportedly carried out strikes against Iran. Uh, 20 by 300 is probably pretty good. Yeah, I don't really like hospital food. John, do you think Bitcoin gets back over 100,000 by April? I hope so, man. I just don't know if we're going to. I really do hope so. But again, I just don't know if we're going to. I'm not one of those people, you know, those people that want Bitcoin to go up and they just kind of say things. Yeah, let's see. So keep the dock open. Agreed. Hopefully, President has a plan. Is this the start of America's decline? Another forever war? Yeah, we did a poll. 33% of people on the poll think this is going to last over 3 months here, chat. So 33% think this is going to last a long time. Oil prices skyrocketing in the Middle East right now. And again, we did have Korea's market and a bunch of other ones. Dubai opened up for the first time recently, and it saw some big declines. And so we have seen some of these markets fall. Yields are higher. If we take a look at rate odds and expectations here, rate odds and expectations are pretty low right now for rate cuts. Still only 2.7% likely that we're going to cut rates in a couple weeks in March. And so all right, guys. So bond yields. And again, what month do you think we're going to cut rates? I believe the now biggest outcome in terms of rate cuts is going to be in September. And September is now the most probable time we might see rate cuts. If we take a look at this here, we go all the way up. Here's September here. This is where it finally pivots to 42.8% likely of a rate cut, 25 basis point cut by September. Oil should already be above $100 a barrel. We did get news earlier again that, let me put this up. NBA 30-year mortgage rates also showed up. Hold on, let me see. So NBA 30-year mortgage rates showed up at 6.09%, the same as what they were last time. But yeah, UBS says that if the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is extended beyond the next couple of weeks, we could see Brent crude over $100 a barrel. So you can see this here. UBS says if the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is extended beyond the next couple of weeks, Brent could see $100 a barrel plus now. Oil prices will be good for Russia and dwindling stockpiles of acceptors. They're really doing their best to hold markets. These prices aren't real for gold and silver and oil. Yeah, gold and silver and oil. Volatile on the day. A lot of stuff's flat. Oil's flat. Gold is very green though. Silver's very green. Very is relative though because these have moved big percentages. Look at silver bounce right at the volume weighted average price too, and I think some of these technical moves on silver makes a lot of sense. Still watching news. So Gujarat Gas says due to the ongoing war in the Middle East affecting gas supply, force majeure notices have been issued to industrial customers restricting daily contracted quantity effective 6th of March 2026. So this is effective Friday. Yeah, so here we go. I got the chat thing set up here. Sorry, just finishing it. But yeah, NASDAQ rebounding back up here. Is the dump over? What happens? Is Iran done? Green here. Trade the matrix. I think it's EV's time. With these oil prices, many consumers are going to consider EV for their next purchases. Yeah, if we take a look at Tesla here, Tesla is green on the day when a lot of stuff's red, but it is over $400, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily strong. Is probably the best news Tesla could have asked for. And we've seen some contractions in EVs lately. EVs have not done a lot. Adobe has bounced back here. You know, I've been looking at Adobe, but it's just had such a tough time. And I think AI is going to replace a lot of their business. I'll put it this way. I used to hire thumbnail artists. You know, I used to pay them money. Paid them $20 a thumbnail, to be honest. It's not that I don't want to do that now. I just think it's less necessary now. I think it's less necessary. And obviously Adobe is more diversified than that. But again, Adobe's going to lose business. I think Adobe's going to lose business. So, yeah, Bitcoin at 71,000. Really over that at this point. So here's Bitcoin, 71 once for Bitcoin right here. And again, I'm covering some breaking news here that we're getting. But the dollar slips. The U.S. dollar weakened as fears of escalation between the U.S. and Iran are there. Let's look at the Dixie. Dollar index at 98.80s here. Okay. Okay, cool. I got it. All right. Altcoin season going to start. Even China is pressuring them and it sinks them financially too. This seems to be the fighting ground for Bitcoin. We have to see which way it swings. The dollar index is inverse goal at the moment. Worrying sign for the U.S. News says tankers are no longer going through the Strait of... We had a tanker... one of the big news stories that we got earlier is that a tanker got hit when it tried to pass it. Other news in AI. Before we look at that, let's take a look at the dollar index. Dollar index is at 98.80s right now. 98.80s. CoreWeave announces an agreement to power Perplexity's AI inference workload. So that's one of the things that we're seeing for CoreWeave. CoreWeave is actually gapping up on this news this morning. We had OpenAI CEO Sam Altman telling employees he stands by his choice to permit the Pentagon to use the company's tools for classified projects, while acknowledging he feels, quote unquote, terrible for subjecting his staff to the fallout from the decision, according to the Wall Street Journal. South Korea's market is down big. So is a lot of other markets, but South Korea's market is down big. Okay, so I got it working here. I can now share comments, guys. They don't need to close it straight. All they need to do is make insurance too expensive. Bitcoin's still pushing here. Get trip to shut trading. Yeah, so I see somebody mentioned here regarding South Korea. So you can see, check this out. What about South Korea? South Korea just had a panic break. The Kospi dropped 7 to 12%. Circuit breakers hit. The selling was mostly specifically concentrated, though, in semis and big exporters. Like we saw SK Hynix, Samsung, and other big drops. But again, the Kospi sank yesterday's open after the holiday about 7.2%. Its worst session since 2024. And a big reversal after being one of the world's best performing markets this year. The immediate catalyst was the escalation of the U.S. war with Iran, coordinated strikes, all the stuff that happened over the weekend. And the big one is Iran shut the Strait of Hormuz, oil ripped up. Korea is a highly oil import dependent country. Net oil imports are near 2.7% of their GDP. So a big shock is a direct hit to margins for manufacturers, shippers, and airlines. The conflict also hit global risk. Asian equities broadly selling off. A lot of other markets are down too, but a lot of it's concentrated. Semis and mega caps led the drop. Samsung, SK Hynix down 10 to 12% on the heaviest volumes, which were compounded by all the stuff going on. Yeah, you can see Pawn say, man, this price action is just wild today. I agree. We have a lot of crazy news here. So far, just on the day today for a lot of stuff, we have ripped all the way up and then had a pretty big pullback. I'm a little disappointed I didn't buy this dip right here. I'm a little disappointed I didn't buy this dip right now. We did, and I see Bo here say, Trump will not play games with oil. We did get news that from Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary Bessent, earlier did say that if they needed to, the Navy would guide ships, carriers through the Strait of Hormuz. So we did get that news earlier. At 8 a.m. today, guys. So we have U.S. War Secretary Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Kane will hold a press conference at the Pentagon. And so we do have this news going live right now. So again, let me see if I can share this on my screen here. Let me know if you guys like this, but I do think this is a cool. Again, we do have this news earlier. It kind of runs off the screen though. Maybe I need to make it a little bit smaller here. Yeah, there we go. We'll hold a press conference at the Pentagon at 8 a.m. What's up, Freddie, my friend? What's up, dude? Markets don't like uncertainty, hence why risk on assets are pumping. Yeah, I mean, gold, silver up big, although we have seen some corrections. Another thing that we did see is interest rates stayed a little stable here, guys. So we did see mortgage rates, 30-year mortgage rates show up at 6.09%. And remember, we do have the ADP jobs report. Here's the mortgage data that just showed up. Again, 6.09%. Previous was the same. There's thousands of tankers. There's no way they can escort them all safely. That's probably true. That's probably true. Oh. Cool. You can now highlight comments. Yeah. I started my day with you. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate it, friend. Thank you, sir. What's up, Mama Pawn? What's up, Ron? Open Doors in the process of offering 4.99 mortgages. Is it really? Here's Open. Is it just a coincidence that it's at 4.99 right now? Or are you just making stuff up? Is oil dropping? Yeah, Open Door at 4.99 right now. You give a good recap of all the information. I really like your morning stream. You give a good recap. Hey, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Willie. Thank you, my friend. Max says, again, oil. Hold on. Oil is dropping. Oil is now technically red on the day here. Let me see it. Make sure nobody else is speaking right now. Container vessel abandoned, crude safe according to shipping sources. So a Malta-flag container ship Safine Prestige was hit by projectile at the top of the Strait of Hormuz, close to Oman, according to shipping sources. The container vessel was abandoned and the crew is safe. Bank of America says this regarding Tesla here. Tesla back at a buy, a 460 price target. I think maybe it's that news on the tanker. We have the EU Commissioner Sojourn on trade comments made by the president on Spain. But I don't think that's moving things. Yeah, I'm showing it's probably the container vessel getting hit. A Malta-flag container vessel ship, Safine Prestige, was hit by a projectile at the top of the Strait of Hormuz, is the news I'm showing here. This is probably what's driving markets right now. Here's oil that dipped, but the crew was safe and the ship was abandoned, it said. Let's look at the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ is actually heading up some. Brazil is going to sign a safeguard decree as Congress finalizes other stuff. Are y'all calling him Nutlick? The names people give here. I like Michael Blurry. I've never heard Nutlick before, but I like it. I do like it. I can respect it. I'm playing the Tesla play today too. We will see. Yeah, Tesla here. Under 400s. You know, here's the thing about Tesla though. Here's the thing. Tesla, a lot of people think it is abandoning its EV business to pivot to AI. Bigger risk, bigger reward, I think, in that market. There's obviously more risk currently, but maybe with the trends in EVs, Elon thinks it's a good idea to pivot to, you know, more tech-based, AI-based. All right, guys. So remember, the Pentagon is speaking briefly on the U.S. and Israel's war with Iran. UK warns China of severe consequences over interference. Oil going crazy right now. Let's take a look. I don't know if it's going crazy. It's mostly flat on the day. It did dip a little bit though, so we did have some movement here. I don't know if I would call this crazy, but it is down. Again, here's Bitcoin. Wait, where did my dock window go, dude? I just had it. Let me get that out the way. Let me minimize this. There's my dock window. I gotta put this over here or something. Hegseth is live. Okay, let me take a look at the Hegseth. Hegseth is speaking right now. So yeah, Hegseth is speaking right now.
4 days ago, which means we need to remember two things. First, we are only 4 days into this. Metrics are shifting, dust is settling, and more forces are arriving. It's very early. And as President Trump has said, we will take all the time we need to make sure that we succeed.
Here's oil prices right here, guys.
We are only 4 days into this, and the results have been incredible. Historic, really. Only the United States of America could lead this. Only us. But when you add the Israeli Defense Forces, a devastatingly capable force, the combination is sheer destruction for our radical Islamist Iranian adversaries. They are toast, and they know it. Or at least, soon enough, they will know it. And we have only just begun to hunt, dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat their capabilities. Just 4 days in. Starting last night and to be completed in a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders, flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be. Thus far, Operation Epic Fury has delivered twice the air power of shock and awe of Iraq in 2003, minus Paul Bremer and the nation building. The campaign has 7 times the intensity of Israel's previous operations against Iran during the 12-day war. 7 times. And as President Trump said, more and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started. We are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour, while American strength grows fiercer, smarter, and utterly dominant. More bombers and more fighters are arriving just today. And now, with complete control of the skies, we will be using 500-pound, 1,000-pound, and 2,000-pound GPS and laser-guided precision gravity bombs, of which we have a nearly unlimited stockpile.
Okay, so I'm going to cut it off there. I'll keep quoting him. He basically said more waves are coming. We're just getting started. Medium-term inflation, according to ECB's, medium-term inflation expected to remain close to target. Yeah, so Hegseth speaking here, calming things a little bit. Oil is actually dipping down some now. We do have the ADP jobs report coming pretty soon here. Pretty soon. We have about 6 minutes left, 7 minutes left until the ADP jobs report goes live. Last time was 22,000. 22,000 is what he said last time on a monthly basis. So averaging 22,000 jobs. So, you know, that's like a little bit over 5,000 jobs per week. You watch this market go green. Yeah, we'll see. No way the market goes green with this ish. Seems a little over excessive. His comments. Oil's going down. I'm sure the NASDAQ is ripping up here. Look at the NASDAQ pop. So NASDAQ going up. We do have the ADP jobs report. Again, we have this report going live pretty soon here. We need a stronger report according to Demetrius. Not necessarily wrong, I think, here. I think we do need a stronger report. But I think a stronger report will also push back rate cut expectations. And so the question is, what does the market want here? What does the market want? Does the market want stronger, weaker jobs? Because a stronger jobs report will push back rate cut odds. And they're already down from all of this stuff going on. A lot of people are worried about oil inflation. Look at the NASDAQ pump here. NASDAQ is still pushing. No rate cuts this year. Inflation is going to jump. Again, Hegseth said more waves are coming. We are just getting started. More waves are coming. We are just getting started, he says. Oil dipped yesterday before it shot back up. It did. Look at the NASDAQ, though. The NASDAQ just broke highs of the day here ahead of this. 5 minutes left until the jobs report goes live. But the NASDAQ just broke highs of the day at 24,900s here. Oil down. Pulling back some on Hegseth's comments. The market's just waiting. I don't know if the market's waiting for this jobs report or what. I think market's probably hanging on Hegseth a little bit here, to be honest. So that's probably what this is the market hanging on Hegseth. We have 4 minutes left now. 4 minutes left, chat. Let's see what we get. NASDAQ. Yeah, let me get a timer up here. I realized I didn't put a timer up. It might be a little bit too late. I'll quickly put a timer up here, but we have about 4 minutes. Let's see. We got about 3.5 actually. So. All right, here's the timer. This timer's about right. About right. We'll leave this little guy right here. About 3 minutes left. Here's oil. We're watching oil closely. We'll see how the dollar index influences this. Yeah, so the Hegseth speech is happening right now. The U.S. will take all the time it needs to ensure success. Yeah. So, you can see that quote here. And again, we do have the jobs report going live soon. Hegseth is speaking right now. Make sure this isn't too loud. Poly market currently implying about a 39 to 40% chance that they fall by June 30th this year, with the main market showing a 40% roughly probability. 2.5 minutes, guys. 2.5 minutes. Buying the oil dip here. Are you guys buying the oil dip? Are you guys buying the oil dip, guys? Let me know. Yeah, that's a terrifying outcome here. Poly market. Yeah, this honestly is a scary one. There's a 22% chance a U.S. ally gets a nuke before 2027. It's a scary one. On poly market right now. 2 minutes here, chat. 2 minutes. See what this job data shows. Hegseth says the leader behind efforts. Oh. I'm not going to go over that. Hegseth says the U.S. can sustain this fight easily. He confirms U.S. sunk Iranian warship. Last night we sunk their prize ship, he says, in the Indian Ocean. No, not buying the oil dip. Yes. A chocolate chip dip. Nope, not buying the dip. No. A lot of people not interested in buying here. NASDAQ, again, pushing up right now. Let's take a look at this. We have about a minute left. About a minute left here, guys. Yeah, Hegseth's still speaking. Hegseth says America is winning with regards to Iran. We'll see. NASDAQ over pretty close to highs here. Pretty close to highs. Don't buy oil yet. Poly market is marked by my... Europe is getting more involved in helping contain Iran. All right, guys, here we go. 20 seconds here, chat. 20 seconds. For ADP. Do I have it in sub-only mode? I think I will, guys. I'm sorry. I gotta put it in sub-only mode. This timer's a little bit early. Here we go. Here's the ADP report. Here's the ADP report. Again, last time the jobs report was expected. Okay, so here's the ADP report. The timer just went off here, chat. Timer just went off. ADP report ended up showing up. Okay, so there it is. It's out. ADP ended up showing up at 63,000 versus 22,000 expected. 63,000 for the ADP report versus 22 previously expected 50K. 63,000 here for the ADP employment change data. 63K here. Wow. That's a big number here. 63,000 today, guys. 63. Previous was 22,000 here, but 63,000 ADP monthly jobs report here. So here's the report right here in chat. I'll put this data up on screen. 63,000 here, guys. And that's a big number. That's going to push back odds of rate cuts for sure, I think. But yeah. 63,000 versus 50,000 expected. 63,000. I'm curious to see what yields are going to do. I'm assuming yields are going to be spiking up on this report. Next week will be revised down by 63K. Maybe. Pump it. Big increase in jobs. Yes, sir. Look, big increase in jobs. Again, 63,000 here is what the ADP report showed. Let's take a deeper look at it. 63 is a wild report here. A wild report. 63,000. Which is a crazy report. Give me a second. We're going to look deeper into why it did this. But 63,000. It's right here. Let's take a look. So we're going to dig deeper into this, guys. So here's the actual report. 63,000 monthly job gains. 63,000. It said hiring jumped, delivering the best showing for February for job gains since July of 2025. Look at this post here. Hiring jumped in February, delivering the best showing for job gains since July of 2025. We've seen an increase in hiring and pay gains remain solid, especially for job stayers, but with hiring concentrated in only a few sectors. You can see this here. Yeah. Our data shows no widespread pay benefit from changing jobs. Let's take a look deeper into this. 1 to 19 employees gained 58,000 jobs here. Look at this one right here. 1 to 19 size businesses in terms of employees. 1 to 19 employee businesses gained 58,000. 58,000 jobs. 20 to 49 employees, so really small businesses, again, 58,000. 2,000 for 20 to 49 employee businesses. Mid-sized businesses lost jobs for the most part. 3,000 for 50 to 249 and 4,000 for 250 to 499. Large businesses gained about 10,000 jobs. And change by industry, natural resource and mining up 2,000 jobs. Construction up 19,000 jobs. Manufacturing lost 5,000 jobs. Trade, transportation, and utilities and services lost 1K. Information jobs gained 11,000 here. 11,000. Professional and business services lost 30,000 jobs. Financial activities gained 2,000. Education and health gained 58K. Leisure and hospitality gained a small 1,000, and other services gained about 6,000. But chat, they gained 63,000 private employment jobs in February of 2026. 63,000 here. So that is the jobs report today. Interesting. I'm sure yields are going to be spiking on this report. At least maybe a little bit. Let me take a look. It's hard to tell how much influence it has. But yeah, here's yields right here. Yields jumped up a little bit, at least from this report. You can see it right here. Here's yields. 4.079. So they did jump up versus where they were, although they did kind of dip down in the last 15 minutes anyway. So they're kind of net neutral here. Net neutral. But just to review this, guys, 63,000 jobs. 63,000 jobs for February for ADP's data here. And this is the prelim NFP data. Remember, chat, on Friday, we have the official payroll report. On Friday, we have the actual official report here. So this is just like a preview of Friday. Friday, we get the official one. ADP payroll processor. But a lot of the time, their data can be more accurate than the official data, is what I'm showing sometimes. And so we're seeing some rebounds in jobs right now. I don't think we're cutting rates until at least the second half of the year, obviously, unless we see some changes in data. But 63,000 jobs. The NASDAQ, as we speak here, has pushed all the way up to 24,877s here. The real economy can now start to recover, he says. Hey, dude. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. Love you, Daddy.
Love you, dude. Have a good day, bud. You got baseball practice today? You sure? Oh, all right. All right, dude. I love you, man. Have a good day, bud. Jobs in February, according to ADP, gained 63,000 in private employment. 63,000, delivering the best showing in job gains since 2025. Construction and education and health services led the growth. Jason says, look at Bitcoin 71 plus here. Yeah, and Hegseth, I believe, is still speaking. Let me make sure. Actually, I don't see any more comments from Hegseth. Let me look deeper into this. Yeah, 63,000 here. How many times did I say 63,000, guys? Was it 20? 30? 40? Listen, if I'm quiet and I don't say anything, y'all are going to critique me for it too. So y'all will be okay. No production jobs. Yeah. Why are we dumping? And the Fed tightening cycle is over now. They are starting to ease. Oil dip. Oil in the EU and Middle East is now much higher. Must be counting AI agents now, according to Keegan. Maybe, brother. Maybe, man. We'll see. U.S. General says we have sufficient precision munitions for the task at hand. Hegseth is actually still speaking. He said over 90% of American troops out of range of Iran's fire. European gas prices have fallen as much as 16% to 45.66 here. Fake numbers. Calls at opens. Calls or puts at the open, guys. Let me know. Honestly, my portfolio is actually pivoted to green now. SoFi is helping me out a little bit. Oracle's helping me out a little bit. Target, I think, got his price target raised here. So, pun intended, I guess. Target up to 122s right now. Still one of my best swing trades or investments that I've made over the past couple weeks or months. What other important data do we get this week? The big other important release that we have this week is the payroll report on Friday. So, again, this report is a little bit of a prelim report heading into Friday's payroll release. So, the big data that we have this week outside of this is the NFP report. The NFP report is coming on Friday. Friday, we get the non-farm payroll and unemployment report. We get unemployment data. We get payroll data. And so, yeah, all that stuff's coming this week. My son's a little bit too young. He's 12, dude. He's not going to learn trading right now. I'm not going to teach him trading right now. I don't think that's necessarily responsible for him to learn trading at 11 or 12. I just don't think. Maybe investing, sure. I could teach him investing in markets and economics, really. But I don't think him learning trading at 12 is good for him. Later on, as somebody that's traded for a decade plus now, you know, he's gonna have to wait to learn that. Yeah, I did see CoreWeave, their partnership here. CoreWeave is actually up on a Perplexity partnership, up to $78 a share for CoreWeave. Teach kids stocks, fundamentals. Swing trading. The jobs numbers are 63,000. We posted this on screen. 63,000 jobs. Don't get mad at me for answering this. Somebody's asking. 63,000 jobs is what we showed up as. 63,000 jobs. Here, I'll put it up on screen again, but there's the data right here. 63,000 jobs. Here's the report right there. Expected about 50, so it's slightly better than expected. Previously was 22. So better than last time, better than expected for jobs. We do have ISM services data later on this morning as well, guys. So we do have ISM services data later this morning. 60, bro. Are y'all trolling me with how many times I'm saying it? Don't pickle me, guys. Leave me alone, dude. Leave me alone. Say it one more time. I don't know if I said it enough here, chat. I don't know if I said it enough. Okay? Don't judge me for saying it. My job is to say it. U.S. General says, again, Iran has been indiscriminate and imprecise in their attacks. It will take time to assess the damage information. CENTCOM will continue to strike. Is this data real and accurate? Put yes or no in chat right now. Is this data real or accurate? 63,000 is what we showed. If you don't like me saying it over and over again, cry about it. But 63,000 is what we showed here. ADP is more reliable than the Bureau of Labor Statistics? No. 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 Yes. No. Fake numbers? Fake and fabricated? I really don't know. ADP is real. Government data is fake. I'm not necessarily... I don't think it's fake. It just might be less accurate. ADP processes payrolls here. So, that could be what this is, but yeah. Economy is strong. I don't even know what a troll is, dude. What's a troll? I don't even know what that is, dude. I would never troll you guys here. Listen, that's just not what I do. I don't even know what a troll is. I don't even know what sarcasm is here, you know. And listen, guys, I'm just here to help people. I just like teaching, you know. I'm not here to make money, guys. I just like teaching here. I'm just here to help people. But if you want to check out some of my sponsors, honestly, check out Lucid today. Lucid Trading has a direct to funded option. Really, really useful. Really, really useful. A great way to help support the channel here. A great way to help support the channel. Some of the best rules of the game. Use promo code BT if you want to check out Lucid. I'll put the link up. Great way to learn. Again, they have a direct to funded option too, which is really, really useful if you don't want to go through, you know, all the other stuff and have to deal with it. A direct to funded option. Use promo code BT there. You can also use promo code BT on Apex as well here. Great way to help support the channel. You can check out my Lucid link here if you want to help support me. BT is my promo code. Beginner Trading BT. There's the link. Check it out. I think they have, what, a 50% sale going on right now? 50%. Use promo code BT. No lies. How many accounts have you lost? Oh, a bunch, dude. Hexeth is taking questions right now. Yeah, I'm kind of paying attention to this. I'm watching it. We'll see what happens. Again, if you like Lucid, BT is the promo code. You can also use BT on Apex as well. They've got like a 85% off sale. If you use my promo code, you'll get 85% off on Apex right now. New accounts, tons of great stuff. Just check them out. If it's in the news, it's priced in. I think that's a pretty good way to look at it. People have to understand, a lot of the time, earnings will come out. And this is the easiest example I use. Earnings will come out, and the company will post great earnings, great EPS, great revenue, great guidance, and the stock won't move. Or the stock will drop a little bit. And people that are gambling on the earnings, like buying big call and puts or whatever, prior to the earnings release, will complain and say, hey, this is rigged. You know, this is not working. Why isn't this working? But you have to understand, the real moves are happening in the days preceding the earnings, not necessarily when the earnings drop. Like, what you see when the earnings actually release is the discrepancy between the expected outcome and the actual outcome. That's what you're seeing in the price movement from earnings, is the discrepancy, again, between the expected outcome and what actually happened. And so if it doesn't move that much on good earnings, that means it was mostly priced in already, and vice versa. So, speaking of earnings, Nvidia at 182 right now, very green on the day. Gold, 5200s. Silver, 86. SoFi is up today. I do see SoFi moving. I'm in SoFi. You'd love to see it. We'll see if we can keep it up. ADP revised January down by 50%. Did they really? Was it that much? CrowdStrike had earnings. Yeah, and I would assume CrowdStrike, they're still down big after, who was it? Claude basically came out, the people behind Claude came out saying that they were going to create some type of cybersecurity system. And so CrowdStrike still down net on that. No news in market pump, something fishy today. Well, the jobs data was pretty good. The jobs data showed up stronger than expected for jobs. January revised jobs down 11,000 jobs from 22,000. Who names a company Claude? Yeah, it's kind of like naming a company Steve. The Steve Company. You know. Nokia is ripping? Is it really? Kind of. The range is so small for this, but yeah. You know, I grew up in the days where we had the brick phones from Nokia. I don't even know what they do anymore. Now they're probably more delving into other tech, I'm assuming. Why are we going down? Well, I think we pushed up a lot on potential de-escalation news, but natural gas futures are dropping. Oil futures are dropping. NASDAQ has been pushing up mostly. So here's the NASDAQ on a 5-minute chart. It's at 24,880s here. Pagers? I'm too young for pagers. I had the Nokia brick phone though when I was like a kid. I used to play Snake on them. My parents had them and they let me use it to play Snake. So pagers, I never had one of those. I'm too young for that. Why do I feel today will be a huge rug pull on the market? Bullish or bearish on the market today, guys? Let's do another poll here. We did a poll earlier and we asked people, how long will this conflict last? 28% say a week. 33% say a month plus. That's currently the majority option, is 33% saying a month plus. 8% say 2 months. For whatever reason, 2 months is not a very popular option. 3 months at 31%. So I never had a razor. Lee said, John, did you have a razor? I never had one. I had friends that had them. It's all love to my parents. They were too frugal. Some would say cheap. But they were frugal, and it probably taught me a lot. I never had the razor. I just wasn't cool enough to have it. Very bullish on the day. Silver. Yeah, silver's made some moves here. Silver just swings so much right now. Silver's just swinging too much. What's up, Tidy? Secretary of War Hegseth said Iran had no intention of negotiating a nuclear deal with the United States. Yeah, because understand this, and this is, again, I was explaining to my wife this timeline. Over the last few weeks here, prior to all the stuff that happened of this past weekend, over the last few weeks, we saw U.S. and Iran leadership get together and try to work out some type of deal. You know, Iran kept coming out basically saying, hey, you know, we're going to enrich, but basically y'all can supervise it. And the US basically on the other end of that was like, no, we're not really interested in doing that, and you haven't worked with us well in the past regarding that type of supervision. And so, but it looked like maybe we'd get some stabilization in the Middle East from them having what many considered constructive talks going on about this. This all came to a head over the weekend, though. You know, by Friday we had rumors of strikes, and then by Saturday morning we heard the news of those strikes actually happening. And again, we talked about this on Friday last week. Oil had pushed up a little bit, but now we're in full-blown conflict. Oil spiking up, and yeah. Also, Hegseth did say no sense Turkey incident will trigger NATO Article 5. So that's essentially the timeline here. We have Moran speaking right now. The Fed's Moran says it's too soon to have a view on the Middle East conflict's inflationary impact. Evidence that oil prices feed into core inflation is limited. Now remember, Moran is the newest appointee in the Fed. And so he's going to be an ultra dove, just generally. Moran is pretty dovish normally. Moran says that oil prices feed into core inflation view is quite limited. It's too early to have firm views on the Iran policy impact, he says. And the 830 Canadian labor productivity came in at negative 0.1%. How much propaganda are you eating? Me? You think I eat propaganda, brother? Throw a little salt on there, I might. I don't know. I just report the news, guys. I'm not agreeing with any of this stuff or disagreeing with any of it. I'm just telling you what's being reported right now. All right. So I feel attacked here. I feel attacked is what I'm saying. What about Circle this past week? Circle making moves. Internet group. Although I don't like their long-term chart at all. But maybe they'll wake up some. Just to put this into perspective, again, in June of last year, they were at almost $300 a share. Now they're at 100. So from then to now, they've lost 2/3 of their price. For breakfast? Yeah. Yeah, Moran says it's too soon to have a view on the Middle East conflict's inflationary impact. Evidence that oil prices feed into core inflation is limited. They circled back. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of the U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane, declines to comment when asked about potential U.S. boots on the ground in Iran. So we have that going on as well here. What do you think of SpaceX and Anthropic IPOs? I think they're interesting. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to those in the coming year or so. We also should have OpenAI's IPO, and I think that just because OpenAI is the most well-known AI brand out there, I think we'll probably get some movement from that in general. You're sensitive? Most of what I say here is sarcasm. I don't actually feel attacked. I mean, I'm probably, I would say I'm the least feeling attacked person out there right now on YouTube. Probably the least feeling attacked person. If I had to rank myself, top 3 for sure, least feeling attacked. That's a great quote, by the way. NASDAQ is sitting at 24,890s here, 24,890s. Again, here's a question. Are you buying the NASDAQ, S&P, or Dow today? The Dow has seen some big pullbacks here as well. Here's the Dow. Dow at 48.6 here. Show no emotions? Yeah. Don't tell my wife? I'm telling her right now, dude. Yeah, I don't even know what a troll is, brother. Are you guys buying today? Are you buying equities today is the question. Dow back up a little bit though. Dow has had a turn though. Look at the Dow drop yesterday. This is the Dow yesterday, all the way down to 47,680s. 47,680s on the Dow. Very big pullbacks. Very big pullbacks. I need gold to drop. Well, that all depends. Again, we do have ISM data today, chat. ISM data. Gold at 5,200s. Gold dipped pretty heavy yesterday as well, though. Gold dipped all the way down to 5,000 even. Honestly, though, one of the things I'm always watching now, look at these psychological levels here. Psychological levels on gold and silver, as well as crypto, I would say work better than equities. $5,000 an ounce is right here. We bounce precisely off of that. You can also see this dynamic in crypto, where in the newer assets, psychological levels simply have more weight, I think. If you look at where Bitcoin went at the lows, let's see, where was this? Keep going back here. Let me put a longer term chart up. Here's an hour chart. 60,000. Look at the 60,000 level in Bitcoin. So it went exactly down to 60,000 right here. Big psychological level. The bigger the whole dollar number, the better. I think even if we look at the NASDAQ 25,000 staring at us right here. And I think 25,000 is relevant. Although I do think with equities, it's a little bit less of that dynamic. Okay, so U.S. Secretary of War Hegseth on the timeline for the Iran war says it could take weeks, it could be 8, or it could be 3. What about 24? But Hegseth did just say this here, chat, so I'll put this up on chat right now so you can see it. Hegseth is now done speaking here. So again, you can see Hegseth done speaking right now. It's ended. Hegseth is done speaking right now. But he did say this before it was over. On the timeline for the Iran war, it says it could take weeks, it could be 8, it could be 3. I think some of your more sensitive viewers need to finish their Cheerios. I don't think you said anything wrong. How else can you report the news without someone's criticizing? Honestly, I don't know what they're upset about. I don't even know if anybody's upset. I use vidIQ mostly, but I use TubeBuddy too sometimes. All I know is that if they are upset, I respond with sarcasm. Should I do a new poll? Look at this poll right now. So we did this poll. How long will this conflict last? Put the numbers up in chat right now. How long will this conflict last? Put the week amount. Put the weeks amount. And this is on comments that U.S. Secretary of War Hegseth on the timeline for the Iran war says it could take 4 weeks, it could be 8, it could be 3. How long will this conflict last in terms of weeks? The NASDAQ is close enough to the high of the day here, which is just under 940s. Okay, so I'm seeing a couple different quotes. 2 weeks here. 3 months. 63,000 weeks. 252 weeks, depending on past engagements. You should do it in terms of years, according to Pep here. Dirty South says 3 years. Is that Joe Exotic? The national treasure? I can't tell. I just noticed that. 10 weeks? That's my guess. It's going to be 5 to 10 weeks is my guess, to be honest. Just a guess. The longer it drags on, the worse it is for oil and stuff like that. But I'm going to go with 5 to 10 weeks. 30 weeks? Years? It's a very different administration. They'll end this very soon. At least 2 more. However long it takes for the big boys to fleece us a little bit more. Might not be wrong. The mic tremble is up a little bit too high, or the vocal static. I have kind of a raspy voice as well, so I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. It pretty much won already. It doesn't need to take long. Oil's now red on the day, guys. So oil is red. It's costly if it lasts more than a month. US will quit. Years to get the regime out, months if they just cripple them. The real question is how many lives? Yeah, I got you. SPY today is green. We had some rebounds. Been a whippy market day though today. SPY is up to 682s. I kind of agree with this. Enough to add billions or trillions more to the national debt is what you meant to say. So I think that's probably true. The VIX is dropping. Yeah, the VIX is going to be going down as the market moves up. Here's the VIX right now. It's at 22.3s. 22.3s. So All right, guys, let's day trade here. We're going to be day trading today. Yeah, we'll see what we get. People sarcasm detection capabilities have declined in recent years. Yeah, I think so as well. Lee. Yeah, VIX is down to 22. Still elevated though, so we still are up on the VIX just on the last few days. We're in for a rug pull, he says. In what? Let's see. We got the opening bell in about 45 minutes, guys. 45 minutes. Let's try day trading some of this here. It's still a little bit early, and I am trying to save a lot of my trades for the opening bell here. Joe, I'm going to put you in timeout for 5 minutes just because you don't stop. Funny the first time, after about 7 or 8, I might cry, I think. I might cry a little bit. Why is the market stalling on gold? I don't know, man. I think gold is just whippy right now. Silver is as well. They're up on the day, elevated on uncertainty still, but they've made some big runs up and some big drops as well. So, Bitcoin double top is going to keep the market down to the shadow realm, Joe. Yeah. Release, Joe. I sold my 10 Amazon and bought 16 Palantir. Palantir is probably one of the winners on all this stuff because Palantir defense names are up. So defense names are the ones running a lot lately. Yeah, Joe, you sit in the corner and you think about what you've done. Okay. Goldman Sachs has increased its voting rights in economy to 5.2% as of the 26th of February. Is it time to buy Palantir here? Well, Palantir, I think the longer this drags on, the better it is for Palantir. So Palantir is one of those stocks that's going to go up as the conflict drags on, most likely. Joe, don't worry. We'll all get put in timeout. 10-second timeout for you, just for that comment. That trade is left. Is it too extended here? Hey, I just wanted to let you know that a way to get more jobs is to create more jobs, just FYI. Dude, I might age myself a little bit with this comment, but my teacher used to slap me in the hand with a ruler, bro. I remember. I was never one of those people that, like, spanking ever really affected me. Like, when I got spanked as a kid, I was just kind of like, this ain't that bad. You ground me in my room without TV or without video games for 3 hours, I'm freaking out. Spanking, I could handle that. I'd honestly be a little bit worse, to be honest. Anyways, Palantir just tapped highs of the day. It's right at this 150 level, though. Oil down to 73.50s. What you're saying is maybe a virtual one. Oil still falling down here on some of these comments. I'm looking at the breaking news right now, chat. Again, Moran says evidence that oil prices feed into core inflation is limited. He said this earlier. Tesla's down a lot. I think Moran says, do not have a good idea of when Warsh will become chair, but hope to have clarity soon. Have not talked to the president since resigning as chair of the CEA. He said Fed should accommodate AI jobs transition with easier monetary policy. I don't think credit issues warrant a change in monetary policy. He says layoffs at Block are indicative of what could be coming, but is just one company. Would like to continue with 25 basis point cuts until the Fed reaches neutral, then reevaluate. So I'm just showing you guys some of these comments by Moran. I'm going to have to shrink this a little bit more. Is somebody singing in my music right now? Oil still falling. U.S. General, let's see. Again, Moran said, do not have a good idea of when Warsh will become chair, but hope to have clarity soon, he says. Joe's back. Yeah, Joe. I'm like Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Ugh. You know, just remember, okay? Remember. Are you hard due to your hard time? Coinbase is back in business. Somebody asked me to review Tesla. Tesla back over $400 a share. Equities are back up a little bit, but Strait of Hormuz still closed. Most likely. Heading into the opening bell, though, we have 35 minutes until the opening bell. Bullish or bearish today? Chat. Bullish or bearish? Let me end this poll. We got about 1,300 votes. We'll do a bull or bear poll right now. You can also put it in the chat if you feel so inclined. But 32% think a month plus, 32% think 3 months plus, 28% think a week plus, and 8% think 2 months plus in terms of how long this conflict will last. We'll do another poll. Are you bullish or bearish for the opening bell today? You can vote on that poll now. That poll is now live also. Oil has been dipping down now to $73 a barrel, so maybe we're seeing some stabilization. And one of the things that Hegseth did say is that he thinks this could last for weeks. It could be 8 weeks or it could be 3 weeks. This is the Secretary of War Hegseth on the timeline of how long this conflict will last. He said it could take 4 weeks, could be 8, could be 3. So most people in my polls again said 1 or 3 months. How about 3 years plus? I hope not. I mean, I hope this doesn't last that long. Looking at our poll so far, 64% bulls showed up. Qatar is going to fully shut off its gas liquefaction on Wednesday, according to sources. Qatar would need 2 weeks to restart gas liquefaction after a full shutdown, according to initial estimates, and then another 2 weeks to reach full capacity once restarted, according to them. Green Day? Not an investment professional, guys. I'm not liable if you lose money. Obviously, we're just covering news here today. So again, we're just covering news here today. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose. Some of the links are affiliate links. Don't copy me. Also, understand all this stuff on screen. Not an investment professional. Iran to target embassies worldwide if Israel attacks the Iranian embassy in Beirut. But the news I just released a few minutes ago is Qatar is going to fully shut down gas liquefaction on Wednesday, 2 sources close to the matter say. Iran spoke for a little while this morning, and now we are heading into the opening bell, guys. Doesn't sound like much of a conflict, which makes me personally feel better. So again, bulls are voting on the poll, 63% bulls. Yeah, we did get news regarding, so one of the comments I see is Will Knight's comment saying the Strait of Hormuz will not be fully open even with naval escorts because there isn't enough escorts available for how much oil carriers need to get through. I do agree with that. I think even if they have, they're just going to protect the biggest ones, I think. They're going to escort the biggest ones. But even there's still risks. So at the very least, it's at least shut down by a significant amount relative to normal. So 25,000 NASDAQ will make or break direction. Yeah, here's the NQ. So again, we're looking at the NASDAQ right now. NASDAQ at 24,890s here. I'm watching 25,000 right above us. That is a level I'm specifically paying attention to. It will reroute. Insurance doesn't want to cover it. It will take weeks and months, which will be costly. Yeah, I agree, Pep. Again, Pep says they will not go through the Strait of Hormuz. Insurance doesn't want to cover it. It'll take weeks or months, which will be costly, apparently. Yeah, I agree. Today's an update, but overall markets are beginning to roll over. It's only 20% of the world's supply. Oh, that's it? Just 20? Bitcoin, guys, up to 71.5s right now. So one of the assets that is doing better today is Bitcoin. Here's a Bitcoin chart on the day. 71.5s right now. Look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's still doing pretty well. The European Union expects to be exempt from the U.S. universal tariff boost to 15% according to Bloomberg. Yeah, I don't know if y'all could tell in my tone, but only 20% was sarcasm. I think it was pretty obvious, though. 20% is a huge amount. All right, guys, here we go. It's now 9 o'clock in the morning. 30 minutes until the open. We do have ISM services data going live, and the ISM services print is a big print. It's not small. It's a relevant print, the ISM services number. Yeah, it's definitely not small. It's something. Effective Fed funds rate 3.64 versus what it was for March 2nd. The European Union expects the United States not to raise its universal tariffs on the bloc to 15% despite Bessett's statement that says that the higher rate would likely take effect this week. According to people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity, the EU has received assurances from the US that the bloc's exports will continue to face a 10% tariff. European natty gas went up 25% yesterday. Don't know what it is today. Truly hope it's a good bull run at the open. We'll see. NASDAQ is up. I mean, we're green on the day. Oil's down. There's still a lot of fears, and yields have pushed up a little bit, but then fallen back down here from this report. So I think the fears now is when are we going to get economic stimulus? Market looks like chop. Well, we're chopped for sure over the last hour or so. So here's the NASDAQ right here. NASDAQ's definitely choppy over the last hour. Although I would say a little bit lower, higher lows right now. So we have higher lows, kind of a stagnant top. A lot of people are going to say this is a flag. Or some type of wedge, but I think the opening bell is going to influence this a lot. And remember, guys, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Again, we do have ISM services data later on today. So ISM services later on. Well, the VIX is going to drop as the NASDAQ pushes up. And a lot of this is on, I would say, the reason the market's moving up over the last hour is because of Hegseth's comments being so confident regarding the U.S. side that people are pricing in a less long-lasting conflict, like a shorter conflict. And so oil's down on that. You can see the price of oil dip. I think that's what's going on right now, to be honest. Oil is now red on the day. It's at $74 a barrel for WTI, West Texas Intermediate crude. And I think people, because of that, are just more optimistic that it's going to be a shorter conflict. NASDAQ pushed up really around the same time that oil dipped. And so I think that's what's going on right now. But we'll see what the real moves look like after the opening bell, is what it is. I guess the straight being closed is bullish. It's likely to be a short and contained event. We'll see. Looking at our poll, the bulls are in control of the poll. 65% bullish, 35% bearish out of a few hundred votes already. We'll trade. We'll see how it goes, though. I think we can go up to the right at the open. Short and contained. Do you think Bitcoin goes under 60,000? I think it could. I'm hoping the 4-year cycle remains true. And I think if you look at Bitcoin and you look at a longer term history of it, I think they look pretty similar. Here's Bitcoin. I think if you look at the 4-year cycle aspect of it, like let's put a weekly chart up. I think this looks very similar here to this. And so I think we could break under 60. I think we're close enough to it where it's possible. I hope 60,000 holds support, but I think it's possible we also break underneath it. What do you guys think, chat? Does Bitcoin hold over 60,000? Let me know. Gold. I like gold long term, but I think gold's really elevated short term, and a lot of this depends on geopolitical stuff. So I like gold long term. Short term, I have no idea what it's going to do, and I'm kind of the same sentiment regarding silver. Silver swings, just big swings. Long term, I like silver a lot. I think you need silver for technology as well, and there's a lot of use case arguments for it, as well as an inflation hedge aspect of gold and precious metals. But they're volatile short term. So you don't know what they're going to do, and a lot of it just depends on what happens, I think. European natural gas. Is there a symbol for that, for European natural gas, Will? Bitcoin usually pulls back 60 to 80% whenever we hit a top, so it depends on where the top is. Yeah. And I hope that's true. I really do. Bitcoin will retest 97,000 to 112, but it's a bear market rally to create the right shoulder. Bottom 24 to 54. Inflation is up or no? Inflation, it depends, Thug. So, inflation, what time frame are we talking about? So, inflation is up or no? It depends on the time frame we're looking at. It depends on which inflation you're looking at. CPI inflation. Last time I think CPI inflation showed up at 2.4%. Last Friday, though, PPI inflation did jump. And so if we look at PPI inflation, we did see a jump in it, for sure, last Friday. So we did see a jump in PPI inflation, which eventually can get passed on to consumers. But I think CPI was low last time. So it depends on which inflation metric we're talking about here. I'm looking at a commodity wisdom tree natural gas ETP. Well, okay, gotcha. Keep an eye on Tether for crypto markets. Tether dominance for crypto market moves. All right, chat, we have 20 minutes left. 20 minutes. There's a lot of fair value between $77,000 and $80,000 for Bitcoin. I need Bitcoin to hit 126 in order for Webull to allow me to sell for a gain. I'm holding my $1. Yeah, I mean, in 300 years, you know, your $1 might make you rich. Dude, I swear, every time they say something on my instrumentals, you bought it at 120,000. You bought it at 120,000. What's your favorite asset to buy right now? Let me know in chat. Nasdaq's at a bottom of a range here, though. I'm thinking about buying this. Let me see. Sure, that's the Nasdaq here. I could throw this one up. Again, this is an Apex account. Whoa. Yeah, I have this window up, but I bought 5 contracts here. We'll see what happens. We're at the bottom of the range here. We got enough time. Wait. Hold on. Let me see what size account this is that I'm on right now. Okay, this is a $100,000 account. I need to make 6,000 on it. I'm up 3. Okay. I'm gonna add 10 here. See if we get a bounce back up. We're at the bottom of the range, so I'm trying to give it a second. GPUs, property, Bitcoin, XRP, ETH, Solana, buy gold, can never lose. Have financial advice. Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon. I really do like Amazon. I like Amazon a lot. I think Amazon is one of the single best stocks long term. I think it's going to be really hard for another company to compete with them anytime soon in terms of retail and business. And so I honestly, not investment advice, not an investment professional, not liable if you lose money. But I like Amazon as a stock. And I'm in Amazon. I'm holding Amazon, so. I'm in at Amazon at 190, so it's at 210 right now. So it's done me really well since I bought it. All right, so we're green in this. I'm going to add a little bit more to this, though. So we're in 15 contracts right now. Just bought the bottom of the range here ahead of the open, but if we swing back to the downside, I can cut it close to break even and give myself a good chance of not having too much risk. Netflix. Netflix, I think there's inherently more risk, but I don't hate it either. So Netflix, I don't mind as much. I don't like it as much as I like Amazon long term, just because I think there's a lot more competition for it in that regard. But I don't hate Netflix either. And I'm in Netflix right now as well, as you guys know. But again, my average price in Netflix is 77. It's at almost 100 a share now. So, all right, I'm going to cut some of this here. Maybe 5, take a third off right here. And then let the rest ride a little bit more here. I'm trading futures right now, guys. So I am in futures. I'm day trading futures on Apex right now. And remember, you can use code BG if you want to check out Lucid. Again, Lucid has a direct funding option. Use promo code BT. You can also use BT on Apex or BG. But if you want to check out Take Profit is some of the most relaxed funding rules in the game. No activation fee. It's 40% off right now. And just a great way to learn. Just a great way to learn when most day traders lose money. So if you want to check out Take Profit, I will put that link up here as well. But if you want a direct funding option, okay, we're probably going to take a little bit more off of this here. Just because we're up so much. We'll leave 8 contracts. Bought the bottom of the range. But again, if you want to check out Take Profit, some of the most relaxed rules in the game. Just really useful. Really useful. Here's the link for that. Promo code BG if you want to check it out. Futures, there's no PDT rule. Most day traders lose. So if you fund your own, you're probably going to lose 5, 10, 20, 30 grand if you fund your own account that much. I lost my first couple accounts, I remember. And so these funded account programs, they give you a demo. They test your skill with that first. You pass the test, they fund you the same amount. Most of them 80, 90, 100% split once you're funded. No PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, gold, commodities. I want to give this time to push up a little bit, but I probably will hold this break even. So if we break below my entry price here, I probably will sell. Hold on. I got to get close to kind of selling here. We just bounced off my entry, which is always good. I'm going to take half off there. And we'll hold these little 4 contracts left. Try to let it ride. All right, so we're now up past the previous candle here. Still popping here. Look at this. We're still moving up. Wow. I'm going to take a little more off here, to be honest. We're getting towards the top of the range here, so as we get closer, I'm just going to start liquidating some of this position. I'm going to just cut the rest up here at the top. And we'll give it a second. We're getting closer to the top of the range. I think maybe we'll start to push up more. Did the NASDAQ, but I'm just going to cut it right there. Amazon looks enticing right here. Yeah, we're getting up there. Again, we have 15 minutes left, 14 minutes left until the opening bell. ISM services data today at 10 o'clock, guys. So remember, we do have ISM services, and ISM services has been one of the market-moving ISM data that we've gotten lately. We've seen big numbers in ISM data lately here. The Korean markets are down. So we're starting to pull back now. Good thing we cut it where we did. Yeah, ISM service today at 10. So today's ISM services is a test of whether we're still seeing services side of the economy strengthen here. January services PMI was 53.8, the 19th straight month of expansion, solid business activity and new orders. The other fearful thing that we got was prices paid on manufacturing or in January services at 65.1, above its 12-month average. So we had decent growth in services, but still worried about inflation, right? So heading into this month's FOMC meeting, this is going to be relevant. Sub indices showed business activity at the strongest since late 2024. New orders still in expansion at 53. The consensus for February services that we get today is around 53.5 versus 53.8 prior. So we do get this data at 10 a.m. today. So 10 a.m. It's all a trap? Maybe. Looks like I got out just in time, though. I think I'm watching 25,000 for the opening bell. And I am going to look at the opening range breakout, guys. So I am going to look at the orb. If you guys remember me yesterday showing you guys this orb algorithm that I built, I have to look at the Q or the SPY versus futures because that's what shows me the orb. But I usually trade the futures market. But if we look at this script here, the orb worked yesterday very nicely. Again, I've been using a 10-minute orb. So I'm using a 10-minute orb. So when I set this, I'm usually setting it not for a 15-minute opening range breakout, but for a 10-minute one. I like the 10-minute one a lot more. And look at the opening range breakout we got yesterday. It wasn't a huge rip, but like, look at this. So again, it wasn't a huge rip. But we did get a nice breakdown. If I put like a 1-minute chart up or a 2-minute chart up, you'll be able to see how nice the breakdown was when we got it yesterday. This dip back retest of it here, but look at that. Here's the level, and then boom. Really nice follow through on the opening range breakdown here. And if you use my take profit or lucid code over 10 times, I'll send you this algorithm. It's pretty easy for me to send this. But if you use my take profit code BG or my lucid code BT, I'll send you the script. But I'm going to be watching today for the opening range breakout on a 10-minute time frame. I think that's where it works somewhat the best here. So I'll be watching for that today as well. I've been doing 3-minute opening range breakouts before. Crazy how it works on all different time frames depending on your rules. Yeah, it can be really effective. It really can. Yesterday we had a really nice opening range though, to be honest, to attack it on. So yesterday's opening range was really solid. And every day you're not going to get that. Sometimes you're just going to get chop all day, and then when it breaks over under the opening range, you just kind of get fake outs back to the downside. So it certainly doesn't work every day. But I think when you consider the aspect of like choppy days are not the most common. Usually we trend in one side, up or down. We do sometimes get choppy days, but I would say it's 30% of the time or less. That means that an opening range breakout in that context could be accurate and work well. Of course, there's variance. Different market conditions affect things, of course. It's on TradingView. It's on TradingView Arcade. Yeah, airlines, cruise stocks, support. NASDAQ's still pushing here, though, guys. Look at the NASDAQ. 24,900s. Should get one for toss. What's toss? Think script? I could probably develop one pretty easily for toss. Choppy days. Monday, Tuesday, choppy days. That was a happy days reference, right? Really, it would be like Thursday, Friday, choppy days, more than Monday, Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday usually trend a little bit better, I think. But yeah, no, I know what TOS is. I'm saying Thinkorswim programming language is called ThinkScript, is what it is. It's called ThinkScript. It's kind of like Python. So ThinkScript's kind of like Python, is what it is. A little different, but. Yeah, Bitcoin pushed up. It's looking better today. It's over 70,000. It's looking decent. It did tap 72,000. Big psychological level now on Bitcoin, 72,000. We have 8 minutes left, chat. All right, so we're now dipping down on Bitcoin, though. I am watching that. Nasdaq's still in this really tight range. I think the range is actually slimming up a little bit as well here, though. You know, I do think we have like a tightening range as we get closer to the opening bell in 7 minutes here. I just want silver to go back to over 110. Yeah, silver's wild though right now. Yeah, oil fears are definitely here, but oil is coming back down. Maybe on some stabilization in the Middle Eastern stuff going on. The oil's been falling down a little bit today. Today's a bull market. Hey, good luck, Freddie. Thank you, brother. Thank you, sir. I thank you very much for watching show every day. I only trade the Dow. The Dow's good. The Dow's been flushing too, though. If we look at the Dow's green on the day, but yesterday we had a big pullback in the Dow and then a big V-shape. Yeah, the Dow's trying. I mean, 50,000 I think is a big level for the Dow. I mean, we're a ways away from it, but 50,000. I think right now the biggest support level on the downside is probably here at 48,450 or the previous closing price at 48.5 or so. The volume weighted average price is down there. We have the previous closing price down there. We have this isolated low here that everybody sees now. This isolated low right here on the Dow. Everybody sees this here. So traders are going to be watching that ahead of the opening bell. If we look at the NASDAQ here, I think you kind of see a similar thing, but 24,720 is right here. Previous closing price is at 24,710. And so this level right here on the NASDAQ, I think is interesting depending on who gets control at the open. Above us on the NASDAQ, I think if we're looking at levels on the upside, 25,000, big psychological level right here. 25K makes sense to pay attention to. So we'll see what happens. We're going to be trading at the opening bell though, guys. Nvidia. Yeah, I think this is probably the market on open moving Nvidia right now. Which is kind of like, hold on. China's foreign minister says China will send a special envoy on the Middle East issue to regional countries to conduct mediation efforts. Ford says U.S. total electrified vehicle sales is 14,132 units in February. But stock market futures are up a little bit as the New York Times reported that Iran made a secret offer to the U.S. to negotiate a deal to end the war. The terms include Iran to abandon or drastically curtail its ballistic missile and nuclear programs, that they're supposed to abandon or drastically reduce support for proxy groups. In return, the president has suggested he would allow Iran's surviving leaders to maintain power and suggested that he would maybe employ the Venezuela model. Here we go, though. We're heading into the opening bell. Nvidia turning to the downside here. NASDAQ is as well in the market on open data. So market on open data pushing things down ahead of the opening bell in about 4 minutes, 3 minutes. NASDAQ starting to turn down. Three minutes, chat. Turned down for what? Are we too old for people to understand that joke, Kyle? Let's ask the chat here. We got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Turned down for what? Excuses to get out. Good luck today. We're running. Farmer? Maybe, brother. We'll see. You get NVIDIA and most of the market down on the market on open data here. We have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Turned down for what song? Yeah. I got it, but I've got a few years on you, John. How old are you, Sam, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry. I'm in my mid-30s. Everybody kind of knows that. I kind of age myself pretty obviously by some of my jokes and comments. All right, guys, here we go. We have 1 minute left into the opening bell. 1 minute. One minute left, chat. Here we go. I'm just a young pup. Maybe. My friend, maybe. All right, guys, here we go. 24,850s here on the NASDAQ right at the opening bell. We have 45 seconds left until the open. Let's see what we get today, guys. Good luck. Green or red open now, guys. Green or red open. What about Netflix? What's up, Taker? Calls on Neo yesterday. There's a lot of jokes I can make about that comment, Blaze. But I'm going to just hold back. I'm going to hold back from that. 10 seconds left. 10 seconds. NASDAQ at 24,850s here. 24,850s. NVIDIA has given a lot of these gains back, though. Look at NVIDIA right now, chat. NVIDIA down to 180.50s at the opening bell here. NVIDIA dumping. There's the opening bell. NVIDIA's down since the open. NVIDIA trying to hold. Alphabet's down. NASDAQ is actually bouncing up right now. So the NASDAQ is actually a little up since the opening bell here. But it's not super high. 24,880s right now. 24,900s on the NASDAQ. Pushing towards the highs of the day here at the top of the range. Where did we bounce, guys? We bounced right at the 200 exponential. NASDAQ just broke highs of the day here at the opening bell. Red to green move. We're going to look for an opening range breakout, but the opening range, because of this NASDAQ move, might be kind of large here, chat. Still, look at NVIDIA, though. NVIDIA, all the way down to 180, right at the previous closing price for NVIDIA. Microsoft, Alphabet. Microsoft's actually slightly green on the day. Netflix is very green, up to $97, $98 a share. Amazon's very green as well at 212s right now. 212s. But NVIDIA is giving it back, is what I'm showing here on the charts. Here's the NASDAQ. Robinhood finally up. Bitcoin pumping. Amazon go, yes sir. Still one of my favorite stocks. NASDAQ broke highs of the day. It's now dipping down. We're going to wait for the opening range, though. We're only about a minute into the day here. So we're going to wait for the opening range. Bitcoin is green. I do see Bitcoin green. Yields are falling as well, chat. Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin, guys, right here. Whoa. Bitcoin up to 72.4s. I'm going to 72.5s. Shout out to Bitcoin. You love to see it. You love to see it. NASDAQ went right up to this level I had on the chart at 944s right now. So we're watching this range here, chat. We're watching the range. Bitcoin flying, yep. We are pretty close to 24,000, so I do have a impulse to start buying the NASDAQ here. I don't think it's easy, but look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin at 6,000 right now. All right, I couldn't help myself here, guys, and we bought 6 contracts at the micro NASDAQ. Wish me luck here. We're green. It's still kind of early, though, so I have to take it with a little bit quicker exits here if it doesn't go my way. But there's a push. Swinging back and forth. All right, we're going to take a little bit off here. It's so close to the opening bell. I don't usually trade this quickly after the open. So I'll do this here, but I'm nervous about it. There we go. That's a little bit better. We'll take another piece off. You broke your 5-minute rule, but good luck. That is true, sir. I did. Again, we're so close to 25,000. I think it could act like a magnet is why I ended up doing this. We're at 950s. We're 50 bucks away from 25K. So I couldn't help but do this, to be honest. We'll take one more off here at the top. I might buy back on the pullback here, too, if we get a reasonable enough pullback to my entry. I might buy back, but it's small right now. All right, we're going to add back here just 2 contracts. There we go on this dip. And let it run. Bitcoin on the Tony Montana. All right, so we're almost flat in this position. It just bounced right off my entry. But I am going to cut this quickly if we break underneath my entry here. I'll let it work. All right, we're out. Made a bunch of money on the trade, though, so that's nice. NASDAQ's still trying to get up here. We're close to 25,000, so I still think it probably will push up, but just for risk management reasons, I'm going to cut it there. The Royal Navy of Oman has responded to a report of a Malta-flag cargo ship coming under fire from near the Strait of Hormuz, where the ship's crew of 24 individuals was rescued and provided with necessary medical care. Says they are in good health. Yeah, NASDAQ right back up here. 25,000 is right here, though. So I'm going to look for dips today. It's not the easiest orb day, I think. Not the easiest opening range breakout day. But we are pushing up at the opening bell here. Guys, we are pushing up. I'll look for a pullback, but look at that dip right here. Whoa, that's a large dip. We're going to buy 4 contracts here. Chat, 4 contracts. See if we move back up to retest it. We break underneath 24,900, so I got to cut it here. Look at that drop. I'm going to cut at least half right there. Give the second half a little bit of time to retrace, but that's a big drop. Okay, I have to look at a catalyst right now because that's a big pullback here. We're still green on the day, though. How much are we up on the day? We're up $240. Okay, good. Smith and Nephew says, well, equipped to ride out geopolitical uncertainty, including war in the Middle East, according to their chief. So UK MTO gets a report of an incident 20 NM west of Dubai. Suspicious activity. They've received a report of an incident west of Dubai. Container shippers reportedly witnessed a splash from an unknown projectile in close proximity to the vessel. No damage to the vessel has been reported. What a turnaround, though, from this big move. Good luck, John. Hope you make a lot of money. Dow is red? Is it really? Has the Dow turned? Here's the Dow. The Dow is going very red on the day. Look at the Dow crash here. Dow, not crash, but dip a lot. So the Dow is falling. Down. Was that too much of a dad joke? I think probably. I don't think I'm the first one to use that joke, though. Iran denies the New York Times report that they reached out to the CIA for talks to end the war, according to Tasnim. So the Dow is down. Oil is back green. Again, Iran is denying the New York Times report that they reached out to U.S. for talks to end the war. Bitcoin has fallen all the way back down here to 71,826. Yeah, that was my joke, Lee. That was it. I don't know what to do here in the market. Honestly, what I will say here is that we kind of have a decent opening range now. We're almost 10 minutes into the day, which is my favorite orb to take. Where's my trading view? Got too many windows up here. Let me exit out of some stuff. And we have ISM services data, 22 minutes chat. ISM services. Let's get this ready. Again, ISM services data in 22 minutes. PMI data here today, chat. We do have a really nice opening range that I'm watching here on a 10-minute chart. Again, ISM services PMI going live. Let me see my script here. Here's my script on TradingView. Again, I'm watching the Q mostly here because I have to look at some type of index versus futures because it actually shows me the opening range. But if I look at my script here for the orb, my favorite is the 10-minute opening range. And you can see that right here. So it's building. We're going to watch for a break of this 10-minute opening range. We're now 10 minutes into the day. And so this is what we're looking at here, is a break. We get a break and then a retest is really what I'm like wanting here. So here's the downside push right now, but we get a breakdown and then a retest like this. I will short into that pop is what I'm looking for here. But so far we do have an opening range on a 10-minute chart. We're going to wait and see if we can attack it. Is the plan right now. All right, so here's a test of the bottom. Not an investment professional. Do not copy me. I don't like the 15 minutes as much. I like the 10-minute orb, to be honest. 15 minutes shows a stronger move. I think it's all subjective. I like the 10-minute one a little bit better. But you might be right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just... Everybody's preferences are different in trading. It's a very subjective thing. So... Again, Oman got a report of a cargo ship coming under fire. So a ship is under fire near the Strait of Hormuz is what we're hearing right now. We also had Iran deny that they reached out to the U.S. to try to get a deal done. 2-minute chart. If we look back at my hold on. We're starting to break down under this range here. And here's the 200 exponential right here. I think this is the 200 EMA, if I have this right. All right, we're testing the bottom of this range. Remember, guys, we do have ISM services data. I think we have base services PMI going live in 3 minutes. In about 2 minutes, actually. It's expected at 52.3. The big one is the ISM services print at 10 a.m. But we are bouncing at the 200 exponential here, so we have to wait. So we are starting to jump back up, though. Look at this bounce right at the 200 exponential. Still covering breaking news. Deutsche Bank on CEO says the Iran crisis will have economic impacts, but the longer it lasts. The president sent U.S. Interior Secretary Burgum to Venezuela to push oil and mining. He's going to unveil oil deal with Venezuela soon. So again, we're still in this orb. The 15-minute orb is forming, though. I will give you guys that. This is the 10-minute one I have on my chart, though. You can see it. But we're watching here. How much is Netflix up? Yeah, we're green on the day in Netflix for sure. Oracle as well. PayPal as well. SoFi as well. Although SoFi gave some back. The trap. Whistler says, I think we're heading to $94 oil. All right, so there's the regular PMI data. The regular PMI data showed up lower than expected at 51.9. You can see this drop lower than expected at 51.9 versus 52.3 expected, 51.7 for services PMI, and regular PMI showed up global composite at 51.9. So weaker than expected manufacturing or services data. I'll put this up on screen, but weaker than expected services data. And the NASDAQ did react negatively to this. Here's the break, though. So I'll give it a second here and maybe trade this if we can. We just broke the range, and now we're kind of retracing to it. So I will short a small piece here. Small piece, and then add to it if we go green. And if we don't go green, I'll just cut it for a small loss is the plan right now. We're retracing enough to it to where I'm hoping we get a further breakdown. But if we bounce back up, it's small. I could add to this here too, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to wait and try to let this play out. We got to break up the range here. I'm going to add one more to this and leave it, but it's a risky endeavor, but we'll leave it here. There we go. 200 exponential is propping this thing up. Netflix has fallen all the way back down, though, here. Yeah, one of the other things we do have speaking today, which I'm probably going to have to cut this. I'm going to give it one more second. It's a small trade, though. One of the things we do have today is we have Jensen Huang speaking at an event for Morgan Stanley at 1 p.m. Amazon just broke highs of the day again. Netflix started to rebound heavy, too. Yeah, we kind of faked out the orb, to be honest, and that's all right. We gave ourselves a good shot. It was small. The last one was pretty small on a day that we were already really green on, so we're kind of flat on the day now, probably. We'll give it a second. Maybe the market could be waiting for ISM. So, here's Bitcoin. Oil is completely flat on the day. NASDAQ at 24.8s, 24.8s. Yeah, I would be careful today. Markets could be waiting for ISM data. We have some stocks that are running up big, and then we have some stocks that are pulling down heavy. But Nvidia is now back to green since the opening bell, and green on the day as well. Amazon going higher. We are kind of wild in terms of the swings, though, here. What's running up? Amazon is. Nvidia is. Amazon up to 213s right now. Netflix was, but it's kind of pulled back a little bit. Meta is down since the opening bell, but still green on the day. Microsoft is basically flat on the day right now, but the big move going on in markets is Amazon here. AMD. Yeah, AMD's up to 194s. So Amazon's green on the day as well, or AMD's green also. To be honest, though, we kind of have a clearer range on the NASDAQ, I think, right now. So I have to just wait for this to break. With 11 minutes left until ISM data, maybe that's what we're seeing. But I'm going to give it time. ISM data drops in 10 minutes here, chat. 10 minutes. Are people buying the dip? I think we're just range bound since the open. So what happens with range bound days is you either got to attack the range, or you got to kind of just wait and wait for the range to break. We did get the ADP jobs data show up. We did get the ADP jobs data show up. It's way stronger than expected, which is ADP, the payroll processor ADP. So now the range that I'm showing here is this area. So you got to see this range here. I'm still watching it. Amazon's still pushing here, though. Does ISM services PMI show up higher or lower than the expected number here, chat? What do you guys think? Higher or lower ISM services? And ISM services has seen some strong prints lately, as I said earlier. If the headline holds in the mid-50s, prices stay elevated, the story's going to be services sector strong, but inflation might be sticky. A downside surprise towards 50s with softer prices would feed the growth is cooling and disinflation is back on track. So just be ready, guys. That data drops in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Higher, lower? Let's do a poll. We did a poll earlier, bull or bear. 65% were bullish, 35% were bearish. Is ISM services show stronger or weaker than it's expected? I'm showing at 53.5 is what I'm showing for the expected number here, 53.5. All right, that poll is now live. You can vote on it. Robinhood. Yeah, we're still kind of in this middle range, but Robinhood is rebounding some. Lower. All right, guys. Amazon at 214s right now. 214s. Amazon's still pushing here. I got to take a little bit off of Amazon. I can't help myself here. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to leave my Amazon position. I think I like Amazon long term. I might just keep these long term. Very green on the day, though. SoFi actually back up some. Amazon, very green. Microsoft green. Netflix green. Oracle green. NASDAQ getting close to the top of this range, though. 6 minutes left or so until the ISM services print. So ISM services data, chat, is interesting because ISM services is from the Institute of Supply Management, based around the services sector, which is a pretty all-encompassing sector. Basically, if it's not manufacturing, it's probably services. But the greater amount over 50 this reading is, the more expansion in that sector. So in the services sector, the more over 50 it is, the more expansion. 50 is kind of the neutral point. If it's below 50, it means a contraction in services. If it's above 50, it means an expansion in services. And so the ISM services print, because of that, is interesting. And we've seen some high readings for ISM services lately. So we have seen some high readings from ISM services, which makes this one pretty relevant today. Again, it's expected, as you can see, at 53.5. 58% think stronger. I just had the exact same inner conversation. I'm holding it. Yeah, I almost sold, but then I was like, you know what? It's Amazon. I'm not an investment professional, though. I'm definitely not liable if you look. Definitely not liable if you lose money. Trade at your own risk. But yeah, services PMI has been running clearly in expansion territory, and that's exactly why today's print matters. Services came in last time for January at 53.8, the 19th straight month above 50. Business activity and new orders were solid, but prices paid stayed elevated, which can signal inflation fears. So again, with 4 minutes left leading into this data, we will see what we get. Would that crude oil data have been more bearing on markets now that we have a Middle Eastern war? Possibly. It all switches and pivots. Crude oil inventories drops in 34 minutes. So it's expected at 3 million. Previously, it was 16 million. So that could have more impact on markets right now. All right, guys, here we go. We have 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. Still in the middle of the range here, ahead of this data in 3 minutes, though. So we're still kind of flat. I think long. I mean, I could stick around and cover the crude oil inventories at 10:30 if you guys want me to. Speaking of crude oil, though, look at this drop. Crude oil down at 74. So IDF says we struck Iran with over 5,000 munitions since the start of the operation. The White House is going to review a new prediction market measure from the CFTC. Goldman Sachs did warn oil could hit $100. They say global oil prices could surge to 100 if exports through the Strait of Hormuz stay low for several weeks. Baseline is 5 more days, 15% of normal exports, and then gradual month-long recovery. Yeah, I don't usually cover the crude oil inventories, but if you guys want me to stick around that extra 30 minutes and cover it, I can. Just let me know. Where is live? All right, here we go, guys. We have 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Yeah, stay. You could probably stay. We need top 10 coverage. Listen, we have 50 seconds left until ISM services data goes live. 50 seconds left. Again, the greater over 50 this is, the more expansion. The greater close to 50 or under 50, which is probably not going to be, the more contraction or the less expansion in services. Prices paid is also going to be a relevant metric here for this. Prices paid is going to be a relevant metric. Last time was 66 point something. So we'll see what that looks like. But again, the ISM services data for February expected at 53.5. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. See if you can catch up to the stream here. Make sure you're live. 10 seconds left, chat. 10 seconds. All right, here we go. 5 seconds. Let's see what this data shows. It should move things, I think, here. Let me put the NASDAQ up. And here's the report right here. Okay, 56 for ISM services. 56.1 versus 53.5 expected. 56.1 versus 53.5 expected, as well as prices were lower than last time at 63 versus 66 last time. And so let me put this up on screen. But we showed up much stronger for services and lower for prices, which I think is objectively going to be good for markets. We're still watching. The NASDAQ has reacted well to this data here. I told you guys this might be relevant today. So the NASDAQ has reacted well to this print. Again, 56.1 versus 53.5 expected, and prices were lower than last time. So this is good. This is good. Good data here, and the NASDAQ just ripped over highs of the day. This is why I tell you guys to watch this stuff, because this was a good print. Low prices, lower than last time prices, stronger services. Look at the NASDAQ rip over highs here. So the NASDAQ up to 24,970s here, 24,970s. On this stronger services print. See if the NASDAQ continues to move higher here, though, guys. $56.1 versus 53.5. Again, prices showed up at 63. So weaker than last time for prices and stronger services than expected here. If we get a dip down to 940, I'll probably take a position here, but I have to wait. We did break the top of that opening range, but I need a dip before I buy this. But good ISM data, I think. I'm not telling anybody it's time to go long. I'm not an investment professional, but I'll look for a pullback to here. 24,940s. So again, stick around, guys, because we probably will be covering crude oil inventories in 25, 30 minutes as well. We're getting somewhat of a dip. I need a dip down to here, though. The market is volatile enough. All right, there we go. That's close enough. We're going to start here, add to it if we go green. We're going to start here, add to it, which we just went really green. There we go. We'll see if we push back a higher here, though. Got to be kind of a longer term trade. Again, use promo code BT. There we go. I'm going to take half off just to protect, and then we'll add to it if we go even more green, if that makes sense. So the more it pushes up, the more we'll add to it, but that'll just protect the trade overall here. Now we're about flat. I want to add back size as long as it holds this candle. OpenAI's next AI model reportedly have extreme reasoning according to the information. You might buy back here. Take a larger size. That position was pretty small, all things considered. And we're going to buy back right here at the start of that level. We have 6 contracts here, 6 contracts. But if we get faked out here and it breaks the top of the range and then dips back down, it's just kind of fake out city. So we've made money every day the last few days, but I don't want to get stuck in a reversal here, which is kind of looking like it's doing. It's not a good day. We're going to have to cut this. We're still green, but look at that fake out here, guys. Look at this drop. Yikes. Let me see if we got any breaking news to cover it. Every day can't be a green day. I don't think today's a green day. I gotta just sit out. It should have, all things considered, been a strong print. I'm looking for market news that just dropped. Dollar index cuts its losses after good ISM services and lower prices. But what a weird move here. Now we're starting to push back up. Market never does what it should. This market is just a choppy market, though. Yeah, like this market's just choppy. We might take another position, but it's just kind of fake out city left and right. Yeah, these are swings. We have the crude oil inventories report in 25 minutes, so we'll stick around and cover that when it happens. So again, ISM services is now out. Again, crude oil inventories now. So we did jump back in long here. We'll hold the rest break even though we have 6 left. I think we're going to be green on the day now, but there we go. Not an easy day to make money here, to be honest. All right, we have 2 contracts left. Very tight range still, and it looks like we're going to cut this one break even. Yep, we're out. How much are we up now? We are up $170. Pretty small. Yeah, nothing on the wire. We're seeing a lot of stop hunting today. Yeah, that's probably true. Nasdaq's getting close. I'm watching 25,000 here, though. We're close enough to it to where I could probably, you know, cover it. But and another big story that we have going out today is Jensen Huang speaking at 1 o'clock today, guys. I don't know if you know this, but Jensen Huang is speaking at 1 o'clock at the Morgan Stanley TMT event. I think it's like telecommunications, media, and some other T abbreviation. I'm not sure exactly which that one is, but that data drops 1 o'clock today. NASDAQ getting close to the highs here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I mean, I went back long Sublime though, so if you look at my trade history, I did jump back long here, down here, and that was the right move. So we're kind of scalping markets right now. We're getting close to the top of the range here now. So Iran's Larihana outlines that the U.S. president needs to consider with over 500 American troops is the policy America first. Yeah, so do you guys like the on-screen comment edition that we did here? Let me know. NASDAQ just broke highs. Got up to 25,000 here. And sometimes these big milestone levels can be like a magnet at 25K. But sometimes we can also break them and they should immediately shoot back down. And so that's always a risk here, I think. In that context, I think that's always a risk. Yeah, I'm trying to cover the crude oil inventories thing today. You know, we'll cover it. But while we're waiting, check out Apex, guys. Apex has a huge sale going on right now. They recently got rid of their legacy accounts, and now you can still keep your legacy accounts if you have them. But promo code BG or BT on Apex. You can use BT on Lucid as well, which has a direct to funding option if you want to check that out. And then if you want to check out Take Profit, you can use promo code BG. Again, if you use my link, if you use my coupon code 10 times, I will send you my orb script if you guys want it. But a great way to learn. Most day traders lose money. So NASDAQ right at 25,000 right now, right at 25K. If you think all economic data is fake, all of it's not fake. I don't know if it's fake. I think it might just be inaccurate sometimes. So I don't think it's intentional. I don't think they're trying to make it fake. I think it's just inaccurate sometimes. All right, we're right at this 25,000 level here. Hey, nice place. Again, if you want to check out Apex, here's the link. You can use my coupon code BT. But if you want to check out my link here for Apex, it's right here. You can see the Lucid link at the top of the screen. All right, so we do have a dip right at exactly 25,000. I'm tempted to buy this though. Let's try. We're green on the day again. I want to see if this pushes up to test the high again, but we need some follow through here. We're up a little bit. That's good. Pushing to highs here. I'm going to take half of this off at the highs just in case it doesn't break and gets pushed back down. Retesting 25 up here. If we get over it now. Nasdaq popping back over it again. You like to see it. Worried about a rejection up here, though. I'm going to take half off. You guys red or green so far right now? Red or green? Repot says Iran will allow some army veterans to fight if needed. Turkey is summoning the Iranian ambassador on a missile incident. Barely green, green. A lot of people green, 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 green. Shorting gold, green. Sergio says green. Doug Buffett says green. I'm green as well. It's not a huge green, though. I'll hold the rest of this break even. I'm worried we're going to push over 25K and then dump down, so. But we're green, nonetheless. Dow. Super green. Yeah, I got to cut this here. We're green nonetheless, though. We are up 270. That's good. Look at that dip, though, here. Let me make sure breaking news isn't coming out. You know what I discovered? It's better to be in the 25K account in Apex if you're trading max 3 to 5 Nasdaqs. Target is easily achievable. But if you're talking about just passing it, you're probably right. It's easier to pass for sure, in my opinion. The question is, and look at oil dump right now, guys. So oil is actually dipping. The question is, which is ideal more in like once funded? And I think that's the real question. Oil coming back down though. I'm trying to stick around for the next 15 minutes until we get crude oil inventories coming out at 10:30 here today, guys. Because I think with everything going on, again, the EIA expectations 3 million, distillate negative 2.5 million, gas negative 1 million here today. I get my news from a bunch of different sources, to be honest. So I'm using a lot of different sources here to cover the news. What's your source on the best unbiased news? I would say social media, but I don't necessarily think it's unbiased. To be honest. There's that crawling back to 25,000. They all have a little bias at least. Yeah, 100%. They're all a little biased for sure. Again, if you want to check out Apex, here's the link. Apex recently redid all their stuff here. So if you look at Apex, really nice. NASDAQ back at 25K. So no more payout withdrawals or withdrawal rejections from Apex here. End of day drawdown option now. No payout denials. No MAE rule. No 5-1 risk reward rule. Built-in scaling and 50% consistency once you're funded. So they got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Again, promo code BT if you want to help support me. Your channel is for unbiased news. Seriously. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I try to be unbiased. I'm not really, you get a lot of people that are on both sides of the political spectrum here, to be honest. Like, I see a lot of people on the left and right. I'm pretty neutral in all of that stuff. I really genuinely am. Like, it's not like I swing really hard to one side once the stream's over. I'm pretty neutral. But I also don't judge either side for believing what they believe. I think most people, where they stand there depends on environmental factors. And I think if you understand psychology, environmental factors influence a lot. And so I can't judge somebody for, growing up in the environment they did and believing what they believe. NASDAQ pushing up. We're at 25K plus now, though. NASDAQ over 25,000. It's okay, John. We know you're one of us. One of us. Back to 25,000, over 25,000 now. Coinbase is announcing there were some user experience delays in sending due to a network event. Yeah, I'm just trying to cover the crude oil inventories. I know we might get less attention because we're later in the morning now with this stuff, and that's okay. But I really want to see if people are interested in seeing the crude oil inventories. If we don't get that many people here, then I'll probably just stay away from covering it. What I do notice is that the expectation for crude oil inventories is down a lot. $25.3s here, 25.3s. But yeah, so crude expectations are 3 million. Last time they showed up at almost 16 million. So you can see the big disparity between what we showed up last time and the expectation today at 3 million. So we'll see what this report shows. Yeah, we're just sitting back waiting here. What is important now? Yeah, we're gonna stick around. We have 9 minutes left until this report drops. I'll put this up on the banner now. I think I should. Or here, I'll just put this up in a comment. I think the last expectation was around 2 million. Showed up at 16. Yeah, you can see the expectations here now. Nine minutes. NASDAQ's not stopping here, though. It's at 25.50s now. Yeah, kind of a 20-minute opening range breakout worked on this. Gold and silver out from here also. NASDAQ at 25.62s here. That 25,000 level we talked about, man. This level held. Look at that. Starting to rip up too. 8 minutes left. Seven minutes. NASDAQ still pushing 25.72 here. I'm going to wait for this last report before trading. NASDAQ up to 25.76. Still pushing here. Nasdaq still pushing here. 6 minutes left. Never thought the Strait of Hormuz getting closed is bullish. I wouldn't say it's bullish, but I think we're seeing some fears ease maybe, and conflict maybe potentially lasting less time, and that is making people more optimistic. If we look at oil here, oil's down a little bit on the day on more potential stabilization, so I don't think it's necessarily bullish. I think it was baked in and now we're rebounding from it is what this is probably. Oh. All right, guys. Again, 6 minutes left. I'm gonna cover this, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Nasdaq still flying up, almost to 25 ones here. All-time highs are at 26.4, I think. So we're still a ways from all-time highs on the Nasdaq, but again, I'm sticking around to cover this crude oil inventory report. And then we're going to shut it down. Yeah, Jensen Huang's supposed to speak at a Morgan Stanley event. So. All right, 4 minutes left. Yeah, bulls are in control right now. We're going to watch these crude oil reports. Nvidia's still at 183s. Nasdaq up to almost 25 ones right now. Still pushing higher here at 25 105s. Amazon, is it still flying? Yeah, Amazon, I'm in it right now. I talked about this a few days ago. Amazon at 217s. I'm glad. I almost sold some about 30 minutes ago. I'm glad I did not. I'm glad I did not. Yeah, I'm glad I did not sell. Because, yeah. Still up here. All right, 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. We're sticking around for these crude oil inventories, but again, I don't know if people are as interested in them as they are my other economic reports. It might be a little bit more relevant now. Oil's dipping down, Nasdaq's flying high, so we will see. A minute and a half. 1 minute. Again, they're expected. You can see on the screen here. I still have it on screen. Let me make sure. Yeah. Crude 3 million expectation. Distillate negative 2.5 and gas negative 1. AMD pulling back. 196 force. NASDAQ still popping higher here, though. I'm going to put crude up as well, though. We got to watch crude also. Again, here's the oil. Here we go. 45 seconds. 45 seconds. $30 seconds. I don't normally watch this, so I don't know how much it's going to move things. But we'll see. Alright, 20 seconds. Less than that even if you hit the live button next to the play button. This war's over, so back to business. I don't know about if it's that yet. I just don't know if it's that yet. 5 seconds. Alright guys, so again, this is expected at 3 million. Crude oil inventories showed up at 1.564 million, much lower than expected, 1.564 million. But this isn't really the market shock. Again, 1.564 million. Or no, I'm sorry, 3.475 million. 1.564 million was Cushing crude oil inventories. The actual crude oil inventories, 3.475 million. Higher than expected versus 3 million expected here. But this didn't really move things, is what I'm showing. Oil did dip a little bit on this. NASDAQ is already higher here. But again, it showed up at 3.475 million versus 3 million expected. A little bit higher than expected. Everything else was pretty much not as negative as expected, I think. 0.429 million for EIA weekly distillate stocks. Oil moved a little bit, but not as much. Again, guys, I'm going to cut out of here. Hit the live button. Use promo code BT on Apex or Lucid. You can use promo code BG on Take Profit. Whichever one you use, I appreciate the support. Thanks so much, guys. We'll be back for Jensen Huang's speech later on today. And yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Y'all be good. Have a great day. I was wondering if we would get a big move from this, and we didn't. So, later, chat. Have a great day.